Good evening, everyone. This is John. It's time for our weekly S.T.R.I.V.E session. Strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. I trust that you've had an amazing week, and I trust that it's only going to get better from here. I just hope that things continue to work out in your favor, that you're excited about how things are going. If you're experiencing some types of setback, I hope that you'll remain positive and upbeat. The old saying is, as long as we keep saying good morning, we still have a chance to turn things around. And for those of you who are experiencing loss, my prayers are with you. I just am so grateful that God is gracious to us. We don't always understand everything that happens, but I know that I can find confidence in Him. He's always proven Himself to be faithful. All right. So S.T.R.I.V.E, strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious and empowered. And our topic for this evening is shipwrecked. Shipwrecked. All right. So now when I think of shipwrecks, there are two that quickly come to mind. All right. One is the Apostle Paul in the book of Acts, the Acts of the Apostles, and the other is the Titanic. Yes. The thing that's interesting for me is that although both of those incidents resulted in the ship being destroyed, the circumstances surrounding both of them are very different in many ways. And so it leads me to think that for so many of us, our conditions may vary, but in many cases, we arrive with the same outcomes. I mean, if you look at people are people, and most of us have to deal with some of the same things, okay? But somehow we always end up arriving with similar outcomes. We go through high times, we go through low times, we go through good times, we go through bad times. Okay, so it's not so much, and we mentioned this before, it's not so much what it is that is happening to us, but it's how we're choosing to deal with those situations, and in where are we placing our confidence, and whom are we placing our confidence. I remember listening to Jim Rohn one day, and Jim Rohn, of course, is a well-known speaker, motivator, philosopher, and he was asked once about he was asked by a group of businessmen. He said, can you tell us what the future is going to look like? And Jim Rohn said, I can tell you with confidence, and I'm paraphrasing, exactly what the future is going to look like. He said, the next 10 years are going to probably look like the past 10 years. And then he went to expound a little bit. He said, what season comes after winter? And they said spring. He said, I promise you that's not going to change. And what comes after spring? They said summer. Will be the same in the next 10 years. And so what he was saying is that life is cyclical. And so we can find confidence in knowing that, yeah, there are going to be some times when we're going to be excited. There are going to be times we probably feel a little less motivated. Okay. But if we continue to just move forward, then we can rest confident that things will turn around. They will turn around. All right. So now the shipwreck recorded in the scriptures, the shipwreck recorded in the Acts of the Apostles. This happened when the ship ran aground. Okay. Now the individuals were navigating, or they were attempting to navigate in shallow waters. The ship was sailing at a time when it shouldn't have been in port. And I'm gonna try to make all of this relevant to the S.T.R.I.V.E sessions. Okay, the ship was sailing at a time when it probably should have been in port. It was sailing in a season that was not preferable for sailing. The ship owner, the captain, they both had been warned that there was a possibility, there was a potential of trouble ahead. Okay. Now, I don't know if it was an issue of arrogance on the part of the captain. I don't know if it was a matter of being impatient about not wanting to spend the winter in the port where they were. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Okay, it could have been a situation where their decision, they made the decision because of a matter of convenience or inconvenience. I don't know exactly what prompted them to feel like they can go ahead and sail. But I do recall from the story that when they set out, initially things seemed calm and there was smooth sailing. But all of a sudden, everything changed. In fact, this is what I believe. Things are bad when the individuals would rather experience a shipwreck instead of enduring the storm. And that's where those individuals found themselves. They were bad. Things were bad, and they were, according to what the story says, they had lost all hope of being saved. And so I think they were welcoming a resolution or an outcome to that situation. During the storm, they were at their wits' end. Every piece of logic, all of their experience, all of their knowledge, all their skills, all their abilities, everything that had helped to get them successful outcomes in the past proved to be of no value to them, or of little value to them at the point during that storm. Everything that they tried, regardless of what it was, nothing worked out for them. Okay. Their shipwreck occurred after they had been in a storm for a couple of weeks, according to what I read. And I think the reader said that they had gone without food for like 14 nights. And because they were battling the stormy conditions, their attention was to focus it elsewhere. They threw away the tackle, they threw away their food, they threw away the supplies, they would let the skiffs go. Every piece of equipment that was designed to sustain them, they got rid of it. They could not depend on anything that they had at their disposal at the time. And like I said, eventually the ship ran aground. The good news is that no one in that shipwreck perished as a result of the storm or as a result of the shipwreck. That the Titanic is an entirely different story. They were sailing in clear weather from what I saw. Okay, now of course I'm old, but I'm not that old. I wasn't there. All right. But from what I could see, they were sailing in clear weather. There was no storm. Conditions were cold, but it was tolerable. They were far away from the shore. They were in deep water. There was no possibility of them running aground. This was a trip that had been planned for some time. It had been planned for many, and the people who were traveling, they were excitedly looking forward to it. There were individuals from all social classes. But in this particular case, there was no opportunity to prepare for the shipwreck because there was an unexpected encounter that was so severe, unforeseen, unanticipated, that by the time it happened, there was only one possible outcome. Once the damage occurred, the outcome was almost immediate. When we talked about Paul during their storm, they had days and weeks to deal with and try to prepare for the outcome. When it came to the Titanic, according to my research, they had hours once the event happened. There was no time for them to try to recover. There was no opportunity for them to try to recover. There was no one who could get to them quick enough to make a difference. There was no plan for the situation. The resources were insufficient. And the outcome, nearly 2/3 of the people involved in that shipwreck lost their lives. They perished that night. All right. So you see, John, what does this have to do with S.T.R.I.V.E? Well, here we go. How prepared are you to avoid shipwreck? Okay. What precautions are you taking or have you taken? What steps have you put in place to make sure that you're able to endure the event? Whether it's a sudden, unexpected, unanticipated event, or if it's something that has been building up over time. What are you doing? What have you done? How are you going to cope with the shipwreck? All right. So now, what ships could you possibly wreck? Because I know some of you say, John, I'm not getting in that water. There's too much water to drink. That's a story that I hear so many times, and I tell people I love fishing. They tell me, well, that's just too much water. I don't want to get on the boat. Well, and my response is, you're not supposed to get in the water. You're supposed to stay on the boat. But you say, well, John, if the boat crashes, then what am I going to do? Pray. All right. But here, what are some of the ships that we could run the risk of wrecking? Okay. What about relationship? Okay. How are you protecting your relationships? Companionship, courtship. What about a scholarship or membership? What about our leadership? Maybe it's an internship, our citizenship. Maybe it's a partnership, friendship, a championship, a sponsorship, a discipleship, fellowship, worship. How are we navigating to make sure that we don't wreck our ship? All right. So here's some things to talk about. What qualities are you displaying? What behaviors do you have, or are you able to observe that will help you to decide whether the outcome could be potentially damaging or destructive, or it could be something that will endure whatever that stormy situation is? Okay, what are those things that if you look at them, you can say, wow, I wasn't anticipating that. Man, I can see how this is going to end up very unfavorably. All right. Are you agreeable or are you aggressive? The people that are in your circle, are they agreeable or are they aggressive? Are you peaceful or are you petty? Okay. The individuals, are they foolish or are they forgiving? Respectful or rude? Selfless or selfish? There's some people who are brilliant. There are others who are brutal. Some of us are patient and passionate. Others are possessive and power hungry. Okay. I believe that from listening to those lists, you can easily identify the individuals who run the risk of wrecking their ships. Okay. And we each get to control the behaviors that we display, that we allow to attach themselves to us. We have control over that. Yes, you can control as much as within you to whether or not your ship is going to wreck. Here's what I say. Each day, we have the opportunity to choose the qualities that we want to display, and we can choose the qualities that we want to have in our lives. Okay? But we also get to choose the qualities of the people that we allow to remain in our circle, in our sphere of influence. No, we can't make people into the kind of individuals that we want them to become. We can't. I don't know if you've ever tried to make a person do something, but if you did, I know what the outcome was. We can influence people, but we can't make people do anything. So we can't make them possess the type of qualities that we want them to possess. But we can choose how we are, and we can choose who we allow to remain in our lives. We can allow those people to remain, and we can reject the qualities. We can reject the behaviors that are not going to be good for our future, that could potentially cause us to either run aground or to cause us to end up in the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the sea. All right. Shipwrecked. Hey guys, this is John with the S.T.R.I.V.E session. Strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. And we end today the way that we love to end. If you've not had someone to come into your life this week to remind you of just how wonderful you are, to remind you of all the things about you that make you the wonderful person that you are, to remind you just how awesome you are, to let you know that if you were not there, their world would not be the same. That I welcome that opportunity to remind you that today, tomorrow, and forever, you are important. And don't you ever forget it. And if you stayed and watched this to the end, then I'm going to ask a special favor of you. Okay, we are Motivate You of North Central Florida is the nonprofit that I'm working with, and we are on a campaign to spread the "You Are Important" message to 1 million people this year. I believe that there are so many people who are hungering, who are desiring to be affirmed, and I think the Motivate You message helps us to do that. And so if you would be so kind as to go to your messenger in your phone and text the word URIMPT, URIMPT to the number 22828. And by doing so, what you will do is you will sign up and join our campaign and then helping to spread the You Are Important message to 1 million people. Now, it doesn't cost you anything. You aren't going to be spammed. I'm not going to bother you. You don't have to pay any money for it. All you're doing is helping us to spread the campaign. And that's how we are going to track those individuals who are joining. Text URIMPT to the number 22828. Join us on the campaign to spread the message to 1 million people. All right. Thank you. God bless you. And hopefully we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.